Greetings, aliens. This is TJ, and you're watching Studio Sessions with Astronoize. Today, we will be discussing parallel compression. This one's going to be a little bit more of an advanced production tip, if you will. So I'm going to already assume that you know how to set up bus routing and stuff like that. We're just going to get into how to do some parallel compression, and I'll just go ahead and show you what that looks like. So we got a little loop right here, just a basic loop, kick, tom, clap, rim snare, and a closed hi-hat. Let's take a listen to that first. Simple. So this is going to be parallel compression that I would do on a drum bus. As you can see here, these two blue channels are buses, so you can see them easily. So the regular drum bus that I have everything routed through, there's nothing on it, no plugins, it's just dry signal. All I have is EQ. Honestly, these are just like for gain staging a little bit. I'm not doing any EQing or anything like that, so that's just a dry drum signal right there, what that sounds like. And so let's flip over to the other page. I'll just go ahead and show you. What I do is everything, all these tracks right here, you can see they're routed. Their outputs are going into my drum bus, right? And my parallel bus has the same input as my drum bus. They're both drum bus right here. Bus 1, 1, 2. So that's how I set it up. I don't set it up as a separate bus. I set it up as the same bus. So dry signal, again, nothing's going on that bus. Let's go ahead and mute that normal bus. Let's go move on to the parallel bus now. And I'll go ahead and show you the first plugin I usually use is an EQ, because I want to shape the sound that's going into all of the plugins down the line, down the chain. So I'll go ahead and just talk as I'm doing this. I like to do a low cut, because I don't need any sub in this. I don't want to be adding any more sub. Sub's a dangerous area to be stacking frequencies up. So we're going to go ahead and leave that as it is. I'm going to do a pretty steep cutoff at about 120 hertz, because again, I don't want any sub. So now, we get the cutoff sound. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is start at the low frequency and take a not too narrow of a band, about around 3, and I'm going to sweep around and start notching out the frequencies that are the muddy frequencies, because I don't want to be stacking those up as well, because with the parallel bus we're going to be introducing these side by side, basically adding, you're stacking this sound on top of your normal drum bus. So anyways, take a listen to this as I work through it. I'm not going to talk as I'm EQing this. Cool. So this is something similar to what I would do on my own tracks on my own drum bus. It's going to be a similar looking EQ, usually cutting out the sub frequencies. I don't need any of that. I'm cutting out the muddy frequencies, as you can see, 100 through up to almost about 400 hertz. And then I add a little bit of mids in, just ever so slightly. I kind of round off the really, really upper shiny highs, because I don't need to add more of that really. I'm just going for more or less that mid-range crunch and just adding a little more presence by bringing in this parallel bus next to my dry drum bus, and we'll take a listen to that after I'm done doing all the effects on this one. So moving down the line, next up I usually go into some sort of compression. I like this one. I'm going to do a slow attack, very fast release. Slowest it'll go on this and fastest it'll go as well. And I just want to get that snap, the transients, and I'm going to not completely squash it, but let's take a listen. Cool, so as you notice, we lost a little bit of volume there, but that's okay because we're about to add some saturation and make it louder again. I hope you noticed that the compression that's going on, it's preserving the transients really well because I got a slow attack, really fast release, so the compressor is going back to normal really quickly. This is by no means a transparent use of a compressor, and I don't mean it to be. That's not its intention for this particular use. If it was on my normal drum bus, I probably want it to be a little bit more transparent. I for sure would want it to be a little more transparent, but on the parallel bus, you can kind of experiment, and you can go a little more extreme with the plugins you do on these type of buses. And yeah, I like the settings of that. We lost a little bit of output, but next up we're going with little bit of harmonic excitement, and I'm going to add about a dB. I don't know if they're dBs or whatever, but 1 on the distortion here. This is a stock Pro Tools plugin. You can use any kind of saturation, distortion, anything like that that's going to add extra harmonics and crunch. So now let's take a listen to that. Cool. I'm going to let it play, and I'm going to bypass all 3 of these and then plug them back in, and let's see the difference. Right, so you can kind of start to hear it shaping the sound. It's getting a little more presence, a little more crunch. Let's even go to this lo-fi and add just like 1% of some noise in there. Listen to this. Almost like a little vinyl hiss or something like that. That's pretty cool. Moving on. Also, this is pretty fun to do. Just some sort of stereo enhancement as well. This is Stereo Tool by Flux. This is a free plugin. I actually made a video with this in it. Like the top 3 free plugins that I use. This is one of them, being Stereo Tool. I'll link it in the description box below. Check it out. Again, it's free. Why not? And with this one, I'm not going to do crazy width with it, but I'm just going to go about a dB or less right here in this little knob right here, this width knob. I just move it to the right, and let's take a listen to what that does. Right? Nothing too crazy. Let's actually... No, we'll leave it like that. I want a little bit more than a dB, actually. It's just adding a little more width to it. And then next up, a little bit more distortion. This particular plugin has the stereo distortion. I like to do wrap because it's even more gritty. Threshold I do all the way up because I don't want to completely destroy it. Drive all the way down. Let's put it about 50%. Look at that, I hit it first try. We're gonna go 16K. I don't really want to be affecting the super high frequencies. Just take a listen to that. I'm thinking that sounds pretty good. From here, I mean, honestly, sky's the limit. You can kind of tailor this to what kind of sound you want. This is going to be typically what I would put on a drum bus of mine, depending on the song and depending on what I felt like the drums actually needed. I would do that, and then the end of the chain, just slap another EQ on there just to kind of clean up those super lows one more time. Below 120, don't want any of those. Cool, so that's the difference between with all the plugins on and off. Now what we're gonna do is take the dry drum bus, no effects on it again, no inserts. I'm gonna let this play, and as it's playing, I'm going to sneak in this parallel bus, and you're gonna see the magic of what parallel compression does. So it's actually more than that. I mean, EQ compression, little harmonic enhancement, a little bit of stereo enhancement, a little more distortion, and then just a filter thrown on at the end. Let's take a listen as I creep this in. Right, so it just fills out the drum beat a little bit more. It's kind of hard to tell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this play with the parallel compression added in there for, 30 seconds to a minute or so. Let your ears get used to it. And then where you're really going to notice the difference is when I hit that mute and it's seemingly going to just drop out. The sound's going to go, it's not going to sound as hyped anymore. Take a listen. Cool, so I hope you heard that. Please, I recommend this being an advanced, more towards an advanced tutorial. Hopefully you guys know that you should be listening off a good pair of monitors or headphones, or you're not really going to be able to hear this. Maybe you can, but it's very subtle but very profound at the same time, if that makes any sense. Especially on like a drum bus, because in dance music especially, drums are like this, almost the center of the song. It just adds more harmonics. You're adding a little more of the presence of the attacks due to how we set up the compression, a little bit of stereo enhancement, so you're getting a little tiny bit of width. At the same time, you're not really affecting the super, super highs, and you're not really affecting the super, super subby lows. And let's just take a listen again one more time. I'll do it without the parallel compression, and then I'll kick it in after a little bit and just listen to how the sound just kind of gets amped up, and it's just a little more in your face. It's a little more punchy sounding. It's just got a more presence, overall more bite to it. Take a listen. Sweet, guys. So yeah, that's just the magic of parallel compression. Sky's the limit to what kind of processing you want to put on your parallel compression bus, and sky's the limit to what kind of buses you want a parallel bus running alongside of enhancing. Do this on your synth bus. Do this if you have vocals. Do it on a vocal bus. Do it on your master bus. Sky's the limit. Really just test the waters, and you can go crazy with it or just very subtle. Up to you. Matter of personal taste. But yeah, this is typically what I would go with. A little bit of EQ, shaping the sound, going into your compressor. Again, you don't want to be affecting the super, super lows, because if you stack those frequencies, gets messy real quick. That's why I notched out all these muddy frequencies. I didn't want to be stacking those either. Into some compression, really slow attack, really fast release. I'm letting those transients shine through. I'm not absolutely squashing it, but I am getting a nice level present sound. Doing some harmonic enhancement, a little bit of distortion there, a little bit of stereo enhancement, a little more stereo distortion. And then again, just filtering out those subs, and you slowly creep it right beside your dry bus, and it works its magic. So that's going to be it for today, guys. If you have any questions or any recommendations for any other videos, contact us on social media at Astronoize Music. Message us here, comment in the comment box below. I read all the comments, try to respond to them all too. I need some ideas. I want your ideas. I want to, because I know what I know, but I don't know what you don't know. So let me know, Anyways, guys, until next time, make some music. Peace.